Hey folks, really quickly, this episode is made possible by support from our friends at the Urban Lounge. Check out their website, theurbanloungeslc.com. Follow them on Facebook and Twitter. Check out all the bands that are going to be coming there in the very near future. Also, this episode of the podcast is made by support from Peach Treats, custom ear art, whether you have gauged ears or not gauged ears. There's something for everybody. Check out the Etsy shop, peachtreats.etsy.com. Custom ear art made right here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Thanks for the support, Peach Treats and Urban Lounge. Now on with the podcast.
Showcasing local talent, professionals, and everyday people making Salt Lake City what it is today. It's time for another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast.
I want to welcome you guys out today to episode 131 of the I Am Salt Lake podcast. I'm Chris Hollifield. I am your host. Welcome to my show, everybody. However you found it, thank you so much for listening. You can find the website, iamsaltlake.com. You can find out everything about me, about the podcast, all right there at iamsaltlake.com. Make sure you subscribe in iTunes. That way you don't miss a single episode. I'm here once a week showcasing Salt Lake City, and you don't want to miss a single episode, as I got some great episodes coming up here in the very near future. Hey, it's that time of the year again. Our friends over at City Weekly is letting you guys vote for who you think deserves Best of Utah awards. And it would mean a lot to me if you'd head on over to their website and vote for the I Am Salt Lake podcast for Best Local Podcast. I made a link, really easy link for you guys to type into your browser. It will forward you to the website. Type in iamsaltlake.com/cityweekly, and that will forward you to the website. You will see the Reader's Ballot banner right near the top. It'll say, click here to vote. Click that banner and go in there and vote, and vote for some stuff that you might not normally vote for. I mean, this is your time to make your voice heard on who you think, best food here in Salt Lake, best podcast, best radio, best shops, best vegan food. I mean, there's all kinds of different categories on there. And go in there and vote and let Utah know who you think is the best. And like I said, best local podcast, just type in I Am Salt Lake. I got a great episode for you guys today. Dan and T from Betty Hates Everything joined me over here at my downtown apartment, where we sat down, we chatted about the band, got to know them a little bit better. We play some music from Betty Hates Everything. We talk about the music scene. You know, I don't know about you guys, but the music scene here in Salt Lake City especially is incredible. I mean, as well as Utah County and Ogden. I mean, there are some great musicians. There are some great bands in the area. And through this podcast, I'm discovering more and more and more great music out of Utah here, and I'm happy to showcase that here on the podcast, as it lets me find out about some great musicians and some great music here in Salt Lake City. You can find Betty Hates Everything on Facebook. I'm going to put all the links on the show notes for this episode 131. You can find that at iamsaltlake.com. That way you can connect with them, find out about all the shows that are going to be coming up here in the near future. They got some great shows coming up. Check that out. Their Facebook, their Twitter. I'm going to put all the links on the show notes. That way you can connect with Betty Hates Everything. Hopefully you guys stay tuned. Listen to the whole episode. Really great conversation I had with these guys. And without any more chatting on my end, let's jump into that conversation that I had with T and Dan as they came over to my downtown apartment, and we talked about their band, Betty Hates Everything. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast. Why don't we just kind of start with some simple introductions?
Okay.
Who I'm talking with, and it's Dan and T, but I'll let you guys kind of introduce yourself. You're from Betty Hates Everything.
Yeah.
So just give a little introduction of like what you do in the band. I know I don't have all the band members here, but
yes. So I'm the drummer, and I do pretty much all of our booking and our Facebook, and then and that's pretty much it. And then T does pretty much everything else, including guitar.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
I started 5 years ago with these guys, and we recorded 3 songs, and then some drama came about.
There was a hiatus, a band hiatus of a number of members.
It's like a four and a half year hiatus or something.
Yeah. It was.
So there's four of you guys.
There's
Four in the band.
Yeah, Adam Bombard's the bass player. He's not here, and Kevin Hill, the singer.
Kevin's the singer. Yep. Yeah.
And so, how long has the band been around?
This version of it, I'd say about a year and a half.
Since like May. I
yeah.
think.
And what do you mean by
May
this version?
So So this started back 5 years ago when I moved into town about 16 years ago.
Into Salt Lake City?
Salt Lake City,
okay.
yeah. So I came in from
You can go that far back?
I'm going to go back 16
Yeah, let's.
years.
Dude, we're here to find out the story. We're here to find out the story.
16 years. I'm going to go back.
Where did you come from, T?
From the East Coast. So
East, we're from out east.
So I'm Canadian. I'm from near Toronto, a town called Hamilton, Ontario.
Okay.
It sounds like he's from the Bronx.
Yeah, well, my other
And he's
family
in the
lives in
mafia.
Brooklyn, so I spent some time growing up in Brooklyn too. So I kind of a little bit of an East Coast thing going on. And so I've always been into music and have been in bands out in Toronto and a couple of CDs here and there, you know, just a fun thing, you know. And then when I moved to Salt Lake for work, I kind of dried up for a bit. I didn't play for a bit. You know, I'd go to some blues jam sessions and stuff like that, and I was kind of hoping to put something together that was like a rock band, you know.
Yeah, I found him on Craigslist, actually.
That's how we found each other. Yeah. And so I knew someone who knew Kevin, and I said, you know, I need to find a singer for this band I'm putting together. And she said, well, come down to the Ritz bowling alley. They've got a karaoke night. I want you to meet the guy who hosts the karaoke.
I used to go down to those karaoke nights all the time back in the
blast,
day.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't like it.
I can't stand karaoke.
So I went down there, and there's this guy singing one of the 2-part harmonies of Moulin Rouge. And I'm going, holy crap, this guy's got some pipes, right? So I walk up to him and I say, hey, you know, there's some joker. He's walking up to him and say, hey, my name's T. I'm putting a band together. You want to be in my band? And he just flat out said no.
Just based off of him doing karaoke.
Yeah. And I heard enough singers, and I knew, you know, this guy he used his diaphragm. He was good.
And it's so hard to find a singer.
Singers are the hardest thing to find, right? Yeah. So that's, you know, the first thing you look for basically is when you want to put a band together is you look for a singer, because they're the hardest ones. And then, of course, you start piecing together the other instrumentation. But he had good pipes. So
and then drummers, because we're the second most important.
Those guys are the next step. Actually, I think you were the next.
I heard it. I heard it. I don't know if it's true in all states, but I heard drummers are kind of a scarce.
I would say singers and drummers are the scarcest.
Yeah. You know, to find a good drummer in Salt Lake City.
Anybody can call themselves a drummer or a bass player or a guitarist, but finding good ones is the trick, you know. And motivation.
Well, probably finding good anything.
Good, yeah.
You know, I mean, dedicated members.
Exactly.
You know, so anyways, you're at the Ritz bowling alley.
So I said, you want a band, you know, want to put a band together, and he's like, no, he goes, no, like just straight up, you know. And then so I talked to the girl that I knew at the time that had brought me to meet him, and she said, you know, he's skittish because there's a number of times he's tried out for bands and they've been really kind of crappy, you know. And you know, and I'd played guitar for her, and some other people that he knew. And so they kind of went to him and softened him up and said, look, this guy's for real. He's not messing around. He's not saying he plays guitar like for fun. It's serious. He wants to play, you know. So I went back about a month later and I said, hey, I still want you to be in my band. And he goes, okay, just kind of out of the blue. And I went, well, that's kind of neat. And then I found out later that he had been softened up by a lot of his friends, right? And then, and I said, okay, well, now we got to find the rest of the band. And Dan answered the Craigslist post. Mm-hmm. And
so you posted something on Craigslist.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, Kevin and I did.
Kevin and yourself.
And then he answered the Craigslist post, and he came out, and then Dougie, right?
Doug, yeah.
Doug, yeah. So Doug, the bass player, Doug, and Doug was from Philly, I think, or Boston.
Yeah, Doug Metz, Philly, yeah.
Yep.
He plays with Grits Green. Does he play with Grits Green now?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. He's such a good bassist.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, he had a lot of feel, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Doug Metz, I guess.
Yeah, he's a good player. And so we you know, we had this band. We had the four of us, and we were going to play covers. And said, you know, let's play covers and then go from there. You know,
see where it takes you if you want to start writing some original music.
Exactly, let's get our chops up. You know, and I had written some stuff back in Canada that I never used for anything. You know, and so after we had played for a while together out on stage and got a chemistry together, you know, I introduced a couple of the originals to the singer and said, what do you think of this? I'm just going to do this. And I had never seen whether or not Kevin could even listen to a set of chords and put a melody to them. You know, I had no idea what he was going to do. And the first song we did was DOD, right? I think. And so he put the melody to it and the words, and we played it, and everybody freaking loved it. And we kept going from there. And then we did Rip It Away, and I think Long Time Ago, right? Mm-hmm. And those songs came to be our first three originals, and we throw them in all our sets, you know, and our cover sets were different too, I think, for for the most part in the Valley, we were playing some 90s alternative stuff, 90s alternative rock.
Was that kind of your guys' musical roots, kind of the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll let him talk about what got him into drumming, which is really interesting because if you look at all the members of the band, we all have different tastes and what influenced us,
Well, should we finish the story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah. So Dan got married and there were a sequence of events where, he ended up kind of jamming with his wife's brother and they were in Wyoming, and so in a familial kind of way it took kind of time away from him and to go do these things, and it ended up that we lost Dan from the band.
Lost him as in you quit, or you had to okay.
I quit to go play with Jubb up in Wyoming.
Right.
So
and he was doing good up there. I mean, they did play some cool gigs, and we kind of kept in touch, and
we got to open for Papa Roach and Royal Bliss, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And then we went through a couple drummers, and a number of bass players too, and at the time we had another drummer, Jason, and this bass player, Adam Bombard, I've known him for at least 13 years. I think since I moved here, I met him through another band, a friend who played in another band called Blackwater Jack, and they're a blues cover band, but played old rock stuff. And so we had recorded these 3 songs. I had them recorded already with Dan on the drums and Doug on the bass, and I'd let them. I played them for Adam and said, "Look, I'm looking for a guy to play in an original band." And he heard the music and fell in love and went, "I'm in." Mm-hmm. So Adam was in, and Adam was amazingly talented. He understands music theory. The guy can play anything on the bass. He plays guitar. He can sing. He's fantastic,
Yeah.
And so now it was the 3 of us with this other drummer, Jason. And then out of the blue, I start talking to him again. And something had happened with Jubb. I'll let you talk about that scenario.
I ended up getting divorced, and I moved back to Ogden. I was living in Syracuse, and then I just decided to make drumming my life. I'm going to make money drumming one way or the other.
Yeah.
I just love playing music. There was a couple moments in Jubb where we played for a biker rally, and there were probably 200 people there, and we legitimately had them hooked. They were watching us and they were loving it. We were covering "Stirred Up" by Bob Marley, and it was magic. It was fucking magic, and they were just
that energy,
They just
yeah.
loved every second of it, and I was like, I got to do this the rest of my life. It's kind of a rare moment when and even with us, we played so many shows, and most of them are just kind of like,
Yeah.
I mean, they are, but we've played a couple. I think we played a couple decent shows at the Royal, and our last couple shows have been fairly decent, where people, really liked it.
It's our drug. It's our drug.
Oh, and it's just, it's you're chasing the dragon, man. You want
That's what it
same
is.
show. Yeah. You want people to really like your music, But,
absolutely.
But anyway, so I got to the point where I was like, I got to play drums the rest of my life, and then I was looking around, and I came down, and I think I came down and jammed with you guys. And
right.
I saw what Adam could do on the bass and with his backing and vocals, and I was like, let's do this.
Yeah.
So
and he was motivated to. It's hard, like we talked about previously here. It's hard to find not just talented musicians, but musicians that are motivated to move forward and go into who can take the risk and say, we're going to go away for a week and we're going to go play. Wyoming, or go down to
Idaho.
Well, it gets tough on your personal life too.
Oh, yeah.
Personal life, your careers, your jobs. Before we get too far, let's actually play a song. Okay. Let's play one of your guys' songs. Let's play. I was going to recommend that, talking about DOD.
That's my favorite song of our original.
And we'll play that, and then we'll come back and chat with you guys some more. So that way, people listening, we'll play a few songs and get a chance to hear you guys.
Cool.
So we'll play DOD and come right back.
The news today that a plane did not arrive. He started crying. He had a dream that she said goodbye. So now the wind blows by, and he can see her, and he can feel her, and the rainbows from his eyes. Oh yeah. but she never comes. So now the wind blows by, and he can see her, and he can feel her, and the rainbow from his eyes. Whoa, yeah. And he said, oh baby, don't go, I'll miss you. We fell in love the day I met you. Oh baby, don't go, I'll miss you. We fell in love the day I met you. Oh baby, don't go, I'll miss you. We fell in love the day I met you. Oh baby, don't go, I'll miss you. We fell in love the day I met you. You can't believe it. You met a girl today. She was beautiful.
Now, do you guys play any other instruments besides the instruments you play in the band, or is it just exclusively?
Not in the band. I mean, I'm a bass player too. I spent about 20 years on the bass. In Canada, actually, in the band that we did some recordings and some CDs that came out, I was the bass player in that band.
So which band was it that you were in
It
Canada?
was called 2/3 Water.
2/3 Water.
Yeah.
2/3 water.
Yeah. Don't ask me what. There was a couple of guys.
Because you're a chemist, right? Or
No, they were environmental guys, and so they both worked in the environmental world, right? So there you go.
Yeah.
And it was in Toronto. I worked.
I'm an environmentalist, by the way, just so everybody knows. We're recording, right?
We're recording.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't have anything against environmentalists.
You were
so
you're an
I don't want
environmentalist.
to get Salt Lake all flared up.
No. It was a pretty decent band. I mean, the two guys that played guitar and sang in it, started the band, and they were looking for a bass player. And at the time, I worked near Toronto, so I could easily go to the practices. And I'd played bass for a long time. It wasn't really my first instrument's the guitar, but I played bass because I needed to. In a lot of situations, there's always guitarists starting bands, and they need bass players. And so, if I wanted to play, I needed to play the bass, Yeah. So I kind of structured, learned how to play the bass right, and had a good rig and a good bass, and went up and played some of that stuff. But always played guitar, and so still jammed out on the guitar the whole time. But for some of the CD stuff, it's been bass playing.
I get drunk and sing Weezer.
He sings Weezer when
karaoke.
he's drunk. Yeah,
That's your
And maybe some Tenacious D.
that's your
That's my
go-to
other
karaoke. Yeah.
Tenacious D. That's right.
Tenacious, hey, that'd be fun to start a Tenacious D cover band. You
Oh,
know?
man.
Could you imagine?
Those guys are awesome. The greatest song in the world.
Did you guys grow up in musical families? I mean, do other members of your family? I mean, was that always
I did big time.
was that a big thing growing up for you?
Yeah, my mom basically forced me to take piano lessons, and I never really liked it, but I did it, And then, like the first, I remember when I first listened to a CD, it was, my first memory of listening to a CD and going, man, this is awesome, was the soundtrack to Jurassic Park from John Williams. Have you heard that score?
Yeah.
Oh my,
it's
dude.
Good. Yeah.
And I was like, and so I think from then on, I was like, man, music is awesome. I was just,
So you play some piano as well? Then?
yeah.
Pretty good at piano?
Well,
or not anymore.
No.
But could you get behind a piano and play it, or
I
not?
can play like the first couple measures to Dixie still, I think.
Yeah.
The Southern anthem.
Yeah.
The Southern.
If you use your sticks,
the Confederate States of
If
America.
you use your sticks, you could probably play the piano a little.
with my
with
sticks?
the sticks, yeah.
That's some new shit. Yeah, I don't know. Let's try that out. See what happens. And then I went to trumpet, and then I heard Green Day's Dookie album, and I was like, I got to be a drummer. So yeah,
that's kind of was your inspiration.
that was it right there. And I started playing drums, and I just strapped myself in and tried to play that first song on Green Day Dookie, and I never could quite get it, but that's when I learned the basics of my drumming style, which is punk, which is just loud and fast and as much as you can fill in as fast as you can. And then unfortunately, there isn't that big of a market for punk anymore, I don't think, You
don't think so?
I mean, I don't know.
You don't think it's gone a little commercial though?
Well, yeah,
because I grew up
stuff
listening to
has.
punk, and it was kind of like those are the kids that got beat up in high school.
Yeah, right.
Now it's like, okay,
it's more like metal. It's more like really, fast double bass and all this stuff. And it's not really just the single pedal, Green Day, Blink-182, I'm drawing a blank on the other bands, but that genre, that's kind of past. The whole pop punk era is kind of gone, but that's definitely my roots. But now I love playing rock and hard rock and modern rock and alternative rock, whatever you want to call it. So I always have to watch the tempo. That's a big issue we have, is I always play fast. So T's always telling me to slow down. And
yeah, I just kind of look at him once in a while. The song will start okay, and then we'll start speeding up a little bit. And,
he just shakes his head now. If I see him shake his head, I know I play too fast. So I make a mental note of it.
So do you guys play in Utah then quite a bit? I mean, do you guys make it out of state at all? Have you guys played out of Utah?
We haven't played out of state yet, have we?
Yeah. We went up to
Jerome. Yeah, we played Jerome once. Diamonds Bar and Grill with Greg Dotson. That guy's amazing. Runs a great club up there.
Yeah.
And we're playing there. We're going on our next time out of state is going to be in March. I guess I'll plug this right now.
Yeah, we'll plug this.
March 27th. We're going on a 4-day tour with The Last Wednesday. There's some good friends of ours that we play with them down at the Royal every now and again. So we're going to do March 27th is going to be Brewski's in Ogden. And then the 28th is going to be the Royal in Salt Lake. Royal Bliss's Club, 4500 South, 900 East. Who else is playing with us there? Is it just us on last Wednesday?
I think it's just the two of us, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then we're going up to Diamonds again in Jerome, and then we're going to Meridian, Idaho, which is just west of Boise. We're going to play a show up there. So
we're trying to play out of town a little more,
Now, T, when you first, because you mentioned you came to Utah, 16 years ago?
Yeah.
16. What was your first impression, honestly? Did you come right to Salt Lake, or did you go to Ogden or Utah County? Or?
No, right to Salt Lake.
Yeah.
I live in Taylorsville.
Okay.
I've lived there the whole time I've moved here.
I'm always curious, people's first impressions of Utah.
So I was kind of told, I was being told about Salt Lake, I mean, when you're living near Toronto and you spend a lot of time growing up in New York, you're kind of like, where's Utah? Because, you don't pay attention too much. California, it's about it, right? Maybe Nevada. And so, when I came out here, when I got here, the people that were living here were telling me, well, it's 10 o'clock, the sidewalks roll up. And,
which 16 years ago, especially.
Pretty much. Yeah, it was pretty much like that. And, but there were some gems out there, the blues jam scene. I don't even know if you remember, but there was a club up on North Temple that used to be called the Old Bottling House. And before that, it was called the Norwood, I think.
Oh, I know where that is. Yeah.
And then it became some other kind of a music club, but I think it closed down since then. But I used to go up to that place and jam out with the blues guys. It was the only place I could find a connection to music in town where I could interact with musicians and get to know them. And I still know a lot of those guys. And they're still playing blues, and they're, some of them own music stores, and some of them are working in them, and, they're really into it. And I met some really decent musicians, and it gave me some hope. And I went, wow, this town's not, dry of musicians or anything like, which is what I heard when I was coming here. And then there were some places you could go after hours that were open later. One of the places that we used to always go, and this is a long time ago again, was, the Greenhouse Effect over on 33rd, that you get pancakes, waffles, whatever they're selling in there, So we'd go there at night and meet up after we played a gig, and, or Denny's or D's if it was a Friday or Saturday night, D's would be open late, and we'd go there, and it was kind of like a place musicians would go hang out. Now it's completely different. I mean, now you can go pretty much do anything and find, there's a lot more media around bands and music in town. It was just hard in the old days.
Well, yeah, Salt Lake has really evolved
Yes.
a lot. I mean, there's still things I'd like to see different about it here, but I mean, I moved to Utah 20 years ago from California. So, in my mid-teens, and it was different, but I've seen a lot of change, and it's interesting to always hear other people's stories moving here, their thoughts. And you have no connection. Do you have any connections to the Mormon religion at all?
No.
Or so, I mean, you moved to Utah, and I mean, obviously you're just like, wow, okay. That's
different. And that's one of the things I was warned about was, there's a lot of, and I think where I didn't get it before was I'm coming here and they're telling me, wow, there's the church influences, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, who cares? I wasn't even thinking it played that much of a role. But then you realize, a lot of the rules and regulations sometimes get mixed up between the state law and the church law.
Oh, absolutely.
And
it still does.
Right.
It still does.
And that part of it I didn't realize when I first moved here, because I would never have thought, I'm growing up Catholic, I'm Catholic, and so I grew up Catholic. I would never think that my church could affect the way the rules are based in the city or the municipality or the town, right? So when I came out here, I wasn't even thinking that, and wasn't even really that explicit that people said to me, oh, hey, the church has an effect on the way rules are set up. And so, and I think we lost some good places, because of that. I think, the Protocol and the Zephyr, the clubs that were, really pushing music and having bands play there, and we miss those clubs, I think, and because part of it is because of the political environment there.
Well, it's sad to go around like down by the Zephyr. It's like nothing's even there now.
Yeah, why did it
it's
have
like,
to go? Right?
Why did that close?
Right.
But I do remember, when I first moved here, it was few and far between for like touring bands to come through Salt Lake. Now you get more of it.
You do.
I mean, there were a lot of bands used to skip Salt Lake, and now not so many bands do.
Well, there's so many good bands coming out of Salt Lake.
True. Even coming from
Get Scared, Neon Trees,
Yeah.
Imagine Dragons, Royal Bliss.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of good music coming out of Utah.
Do you think it's easier with like social media, like with Facebook and stuff like that, to help promote your band? I mean, you guys have been. You guys have been in the music industry for a while, so.
Yeah. I mean, if you're talented and you live in the middle of Canada and in the tundra, you post a video on YouTube, you're good.
You're good, yeah.
Do you guys have some videos on YouTube as well, or
no?
No.
We hired a guy by the name of Ken Wilcox who runs this thing called Twisted Iris, and he's got a page on Facebook too. I think it's just Twisted Iris on his page. But he's made some music videos locally. And we checked out his work, and it's actually pretty good. We like him, and so he's working out a treatment for us for DOD, and we're gonna film it probably February, March, and have it ready for the release of the EP.
Yep.
Let's play another track. Let's play another one of your songs.
Okay.
Whatever you guys want to play.
A long time ago, or
yeah, let's do Long Time Ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah,
long time ago. Okay.
Long time ago. We'll play that.
Close it out with Rip It Away.
Yeah, and then we'll have a final track for the ending. But so what song we're gonna play then?
Long Time Ago.
Long Time Ago, and then we'll come back and chat with you guys some more. you guys could tour with any band,
Oh, wow.
Utah, national, whatever band. I mean, this is all hypothetical.
Any band ever?
Any band ever, past, present.
Oh my God. That's a hard one.
Is it that tough of a question?
It is, because like his genre is the punk, right? So he might pick.
I'm gonna have to go early Green Day.
Yeah, right. See, he's gonna
Well,
pick something like that.
you're each allowed your own band.
Before they did Dookie, or when they were coming up to do Dookie.
Yeah.
I'd love to see those shows.
See, and I wouldn't say no to that.
Yeah.
I would be okay with that
Right.
too, right? I'm not. I mean, I grew up with the big hair, guitar gods kind of stuff, right? Which is what was my influence in the music side, and so Van Halen and guys like Cinderella and Jackal, and back in those kind of things. So I don't know. That's a hard call. I mean, Rush
Like for a month, you get a tour with a band, hang out in their bus, and
Yeah.
God,
And then I'd have to say
one.
my other pick while you're thinking is I'd have to say Dave Matthews Band.
really,
Yeah.
I've never been able to get into Dave
Really?
Matthews.
See, Carter Buford, I think is just, you have your conglomeration of drummers here, right?
Yeah,
And you have
Buford's-
Carter Buford.
yeah, he's amazing.
He's on his
Yeah.
own plane, I think.
Yeah.
And he's up there with Neil Peart and
Yeah.
maybe even Travis Barker. I mean, just
So you would want to tour with a band that has
Yeah.
a drummer that influences you. Yeah.
And see, when I listen to music, it's all about the drummer. I could care less about the lyrics or the guitar solo. Sorry, T. But
Oh, come on.
That's interesting. That's interesting because like me, I'm all about the lyrics.
Really?
I
See,
like
all I do is I listen to how the drum beat ties everything together, and I'm still not even sure now if it's the drum beat that ties everything together, or if you have the music and then the drum beat has to follow it, or there's some kind of gray area between that, and it probably differs with the genre. But I love, and Carter Buford is so creative, tying everything together.
Yeah, he's good,
with all
man.
of his
Yeah.
hits and fills, and it's just that guy's
Dan's a
ridiculous,
very
so.
technical player. I mean, if I could speak, you can speak about Dan while he's sitting in front of me.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a very technical player, which can be frustrating for me because not frustrating not because I don't like what you're doing. It's frustrating because he rethinks what he does and he thinks it again and he goes, wait a minute, no, I think I got the beat nailed down this time. I think this is what I want to do, and then he'll go away for a day, spend 8 hours on the song and come back and go, okay, this time that's it. This is exactly what I'm doing. It doesn't affect what I'm doing specifically, but to him, he's got the ear that he wants to hear a particular thing when he's playing, which is great. I mean, it's not a bad thing at all to have that.
Well, because we have 10 originals now.
Like 14 almost, I think. Well, 13,
14?
and we're working on the 14th one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they wrote a bunch of originals while I took that hiatus or whatever for that 4-year period I was gone. And then I had to come back and learn them all. So they all know exactly what they want to play. So when I go to practice, we'll play through the song and I'll record it. And then I'll go home and listen to the recording and then listen to the drum beat. And then I'll make a bunch of notes. And then I'll come back to the next practice and play those notes and then listen to them
Again.
at home. And then I'll keep.
So he keeps revising them as we go through the practice.
I got to the point where I'm pretty happy with.
Yeah, there's not.
everything now.
It's not like we go, oh, holy crap, Dan. Well, what the fuck was that, man? Don't do that again. Stop doing that, man. And
I
we
think
never
I just
do
have
that, right?
Obsessive compulsive disorder too. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe I should go
it's,
see a
it's okay.
psychiatrist
It's
too. I
okay
don't know.
though. It's okay though, right? I mean, that's okay though. Just like my need to have a solo in every song, and there's 3 of them that don't. It kind of still bugs me that I don't have solos in those songs, so it's okay.
Yeah. So
let's actually back up just a hair. What is there any meaning behind Betty Hates Everything? The name?
the bassist, I'm not sure exactly, but the bassist grandma was a very angry person, I think.
So Adam was in that band I told you about earlier, right? The Blackwater Jack, and the singer of that band, who was a friend of mine, he had an aunt, Betty, who would come and visit him. Aunt Betty, yeah, aunt. Adam will say aunt Betty.
Auntie Betty.
And she passed away, I think, actually a couple of years ago. But there was a moment about 10 years ago that where they were trying to get her to go do stuff with him, and the singer turned to Adam and said, "Man, Betty hates everything. Like, she doesn't want to do anything." Right? And Adam just clicked and went, "That's a great name for a band. We should change our band name to that."
Adam tells that story so good.
Yeah.
You got to hear him tell that story.
Yeah, it's good. So
Because he wanted to go do something with Aunt Betty because she didn't have a whole lot of time left. And she
just hates everything.
Yeah,
she hates everything.
She just said,
hates everything.
So he came when he joined the band, and we said, it's time for us to change the name of the band. Let's make a new name that, reflects the fact now Adam's in the band and whoever else is at the time it was Jason, but, he goes, I got a great name. Betty Hates Everything. And Kevin loved it immediately.
Did he?
Yeah. He just went, oh yeah, that's perfect, And then I was kind of like, I don't really know. But then I started thinking about it, going, what's Led Zeppelin? What are these things?
Yeah, what is it? What is a band name?
Right.
What
What's Rush, right? What are these things? These are nothing until the band becomes something, and it means something because of the band, And so I like the idea that Betty relates to the pinup girl.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. And so when he said that, it was just fortuitous that her name was Betty because it ties into that whole pinup girl thing. Mm-hmm. And so the angry rage against the society pinup girl was something that became a theme for us,
Right.
And that was good because
we just did our photo shoot yesterday for the new Betty.
Yeah.
Which was
what a photo shoot for what now? What?
We did a contest on Facebook.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Yeah, we asked for some submissions for the new Betty.
Kind of is it like a mascot or something like?
I guess you could, it's a gimmick or it's a theme, or it's kind of our thing that we do,
We had the
it's the
first
face of the band, right?
Yeah, the first drummer our CD, our current 3-song demo has a picture of our first drum, or what's his name, Jason's cousin or something on it. That she was a pinup girl, and we wanted an angry pinup girl look, and she's kind of sitting in a chair looking at you with a 357 Magnum against her leg, and it became our kind of like, we like that whole idea of, because we write with a lot of anger, I think too. There's a lot of anger in the writing.
Yeah, Kevin writes some angry lyrics.
Yeah, he does. Sure.
So you just heard him in a long time ago. So
yeah. So there's anger in a lot of the stuff, and I think it just kind of it all fit together nicely. And so we're moving on to the new EP, and the new EP is going to have 7 or 8 songs on it. And we wanted to have a new Betty for it, and so we put the word out on Facebook that we're looking for pinup girls to.
And was the response pretty good?
It was great, fantastic. Yeah, we had about 13, 14 girls that I think submitted.
Well, probably about 20 because I got a bunch of personal emails.
You got some of your own little. They want to be your own Betty.
So maybe 20. 20 girls
from just Utah or all over.
It was mostly here. I think
mostly they're probably all from Utah.
Yeah.
And then what we did is we got together one night and we practiced at my house, so we got upstairs, went in the kitchen, and we pulled up. I had pictures of all the girls, and the band mulled them over for about an hour, I'd say at least, before we decided, okay, let's pick 2. Tough. It was really hard. It was really, really hard because some of these girls had a look that we wanted, and it was hard to come down to 2 girls, and we came down to 2.
And then it was Anika and Mikhail.
And then we posted them.
Badass. Yeah. And it's just like.
And then we posted them.
We posted them, and
we let the people decide.
The people picked them.
Picked by the people for the people, man.
It's the way it should be. It's the way. Yeah.
It's our way. It's our way. So Mikhail. Am I saying her name right? It's Mikhail.
Mikhail.
Yeah. She won.
I hope so. Sorry if we're not Mikhail.
Yeah, sorry about that. And she actually had came out yesterday. We went and did a photo shoot, and we dressed her up and brought in some heavy weaponry for her. And these pictures are badass.
AR-15 and a M14, right?
It was a Mini 14 and an AR-15. Yeah.
And can people see these pictures yet or not? Yet?
We'll post them. We'll probably post some pictures in a couple days.
Okay. Yeah.
And then when
on your Facebook,
yeah.
Because the image we wanted was for the CD on our EP. So there's going to be one of her on the CD
and one behind.
And there's one behind the CD, and it kind of there'll be like 2 different images, same photo shoot, but
Yeah. So you guys are recording a new album then? We've
recorded the songs.
You've already recorded it,
and we've actually the ones you're playing on this show here have been redone.
Okay.
So
these are all the old ones.
These are the old ones.
In fact, these are from 5 years ago, aren't they?
These are from 5 years ago. But we still play them and we redid the songs. We remixed them and kind of had Adam come in and do the bass lines and
I had my OCD.
And Dan wanted to redo some of the drum lines, and so I figured out what the hell, let's do them again. So we recorded those 3, but we had 4 or 5 more that we already had recorded. We wanted to put on the album. So the EP is going to have, I think, 7 or 8 songs.
So it's almost a full length.
It is, yeah. And then the next one, hopefully like 6 months from now, we'll have the full album.
Or in the fall or something.
Yeah, full album. And so it'll have another 6 or 7 new songs on it.
Awesome.
But we still, these songs were written with Doug.
These 3.
Yeah.
So what you're hearing in here is Doug on the bass, but the rest of the core is the same. Me, Dan, and Kevin.
And where can people buy any of your music now online at all, or is it just at your shows?
You can go to American Musicians Radio. Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah. AMR.FM.
They're on there for $1, yeah.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, the new.
Get them there.
Okay, yeah, that's great that you guys are linked up with John. Yeah, John's a good friend. That's probably how you guys found out about me then, huh? Maybe? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Because I've done, John's been on the podcast a few times, and I've done some work with him, and
I think I might have just sent you a message out of the blue.
Okay, yeah. No, I can't even. I was just curious. Yeah, AMR, great. I mean, tons of great Utah.
Yeah, John's a good guy. He hooked us up with that Thunder Rocks festival in Vernal, so that's gonna be fun.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the? Let's even just say Salt Lake City music scene. Well, Utah music scene. I mean, what do you guys think of the music scene right now here in Utah?
Let me speak of it. Let me speak of it from the point of view of. There's two ways to look at this. And I'm gonna say there's two ways to look at this. One way is to look at it from the point of view of the musicians, of the people that want to play. And I think big heart in this town. I think a lot of people want to play. I think a lot of people love playing. I think music is very well established in terms of the growing up here, and you listen to it, you play it, you learn things, you move forward, that's kind of thing. It's there. Managing and clubs, that's a whole other ballgame. Yeah. And that's a little depressing, I think, in my eyes, because we're starting to meet promoters, people that call themselves promoters now that actually do that, But there's a lot of people that say they are, that want to be promoters, that are not. And they try to push that idea that they are. And all it is a way for them to make money for themselves, I think.
So you think bands kind of can get a little screwed here in Utah?
You can, yeah.
You can.
I'm sure it's no different
than... I'm gonna be completely honest here. I think there's two ways to look at it. There's the personal way to look at it, and there's the business way to look at it.
Right.
And if you're a band that doesn't draw a crowd, you're not going to get paid. And people are doing you a favor to book you at a bar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they're thankful they don't drive everybody out, but at the same time, you're not exactly entertaining anybody. And and I think that's the problem with the music scene. There aren't enough local bands that truly, really criticize themselves and go, are we actually entertaining people to the point where they're going to pay $10 to come see us?
Yeah.
Because if you're a band that has a problem selling tickets for $10, you need to do some serious soul searching and go, am I doing this because it's fun, which is totally justified option?
Yeah.
Or am I doing this because I want to make it a career? If you want to make it a career, and you can't sell a $10 ticket, you got a problem. And we're kind of having an issue selling $10 tickets right now. We are, but I think we're critically analyzing whether or not we're impressing people.
But that's not. I don't think that's okay. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, we're critically analyzing whether or not we're impressing people, and we're going to get there. We're going to get there. And if we don't, we'll just keep trying.
And see, Dan and I are going to see a little bit. There's a little gray area between the way he sees that and how I see that. And I that's quite a valid opinion, I think, the way you're looking at it that way. Yeah. I think our music is good, and I think it's good enough to go national, and I think it's good enough for radio. And the reason why I say that is because when I put things together in this music, in my mind, I think in a way that's also commercial. I think business too. Right. Mm-hmm. And so you can't go up there and jerk yourself off on stage. That's not going to help anybody. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
But that's what happens. We've played with bands where they'll go up there and it's just one big circle jerk, and they don't give a shit about anybody who's out there listening to them. And that's not what we're about. We're about playing for the people and having a message.
Well, you got to care about your fans.
Right. Of course. Yeah. So now let's talk about the business aspect from the bar. The bar's got to make money. I fucking get it.
Right.
Okay. So I've lived in Toronto, that area. I know there's bars out there, and the music scene is like 10 million people in a, small area. So you're going to have a lot of bands. Mm-hmm. If you're a bar that you're only booking bands that bring their friends to make money that night, anybody who walks in the door and hears a shitty band is never going to fucking come back. And if you're a bar though, that actually has some integrity and says, look, I know you can bring some of your friends, but your music has to be good. And if you come play my bar and you play good music and we get people off the street to come here, they're going to hear good music and they're going to come back and they're going to say, fuck, I don't know who those guys were, but that bar books bands that sound pretty good.
Right.
And I want to go back there. And that's how you build your clientele base in a bar. Not by saying, I'm going to book 5 fucking bands tonight. I don't give a shit if you guys sound garbage. Just bring 6 people or 7 people so I can make some money at the fucking door. Well, who's going to...
friend and they want to hang out with you
right.
because they want to hear you play.
Right. So who fucking wants to go to that bar? right? And that's not a good business strategy if you're a bar owner. It might be thinking about tomorrow's receipts, but it's not going to be thinking about next year's receipts or next month's receipts. And I think that's fucking us, is what it's doing. Now, you're right. I mean, I agree with you too, that as a band, you got to be critical of yourself and say, what am I really doing here? Do I just want to get in front of my friends and play? Great. Find the venue that does that and go do that. Mm-hmm. But the venues themselves have to be critical about who they're putting on stage, I think, you know, and they got to say, I want to hear what you've got. Let me hear what you've recorded. Let me hear your music. And we might not even fit in. I mean, if we go to a certain bar, I remember when Club Vegas was open. Now I think it's called Club Lo-Fi. Or something lo-fi.
The bars around here change their names.
Yeah, they
so
change.
much.
I know. That's because they get run into the fucking ground and someone else has to buy them, right?
Yeah.
And so Club Vegas was a really heavy metal.
Well, that's what they were known for.
Right, exactly. Do we want to go play Club Vegas? If the guy said from Club Vegas, come and play a gig with a couple bands that night, we'd probably say no to that because we don't think that crowd would be interested in our music, and we don't think it would really help him any, like to have a band up there that nobody wants to really listen to their alternative rock sound, you know? Yeah. So there has to be a combination of things that happen, and unfortunately there's always that undertone of, I don't give a shit. I just need to make some money next week. So let's bring in 5 bands and, let's sell tickets. Here's your Guerrilla Music was a great example. We were hooked up with them. They had people in town that were promoting things and they would go to the venue or some other places like that and hook up like 7 bands starting at like 6 p.m. Well, the first 5-6 bands, it didn't really matter to them. Now, who's going to go to see the band at 6 p.m., right? They would worry about the last 2 or last 3 bands, which were fairly decent bands. And we met actually playing those gigs with Guerrilla Music. We met some really good musicians and some good bands that we still talk to, but you could see that it was, I understand you got to make money. You can see that. But Guerrilla's interest wasn't developing Salt Lake's music scene. Their interest was whatever their interest is. And if you have a local group that's trying to develop the music scene in Salt Lake, maybe if they get into combination with some of the bars around here, they can make more money. Right. And make something happen.
Make something happen.
Right. Yeah. And then maybe you'll have like these national acts. By the way, asking your question before, who would I play with? Alter Bridge, man. If I could tour with Alter Bridge, fucking, it would
That's
be.
A good pick.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
Fucking those guys. Yeah. Oh my God.
These guys are ridiculous.
Yeah. I
hate those guys.
I know. I fucking can't stand them, but I love them at the same time.
I really hate them. They're just insanely talented.
They are.
I wish I could get to that level at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, that's I kind of went off topic for a second.
No, that's what it's all about, man.
I would say that we aspire to that style.
Yeah.
Alter Bridge.
Yeah.
I would say Betty Hates Everything aspire. Maybe a little bit more Pearl Jammy.
Yeah.
A little bit more jammy than Alter Bridge because Alter Bridge is pretty on point, detailed.
It's fucking,
and we jam a little bit more than they do, I think.
We do, yeah. So Mark Tremonti, the guitar player, and Miles Kennedy, who sings for them, they used to be Creed, right? Like the 3 members of Creed, the bass, drums, and guitar player, I think. Mm-hmm. And then they picked up Miles Kennedy is the singer, whose pipes are ridiculous. Mm-hmm. The guy's, Anyway, so Tremonti, his whole way of looking at guitar playing has been something I've been kind of exploring, and like fast but melodic, and kind of reminds me of the 80s thing when they started doing a lot of finger tapping, but it's not like that. He tunes his guitar completely different sometimes and plays solos
dab.
Dab gab gab bad. So that's the name of the strings, but you can't play the solo without tuning your guitar the way he has it tuned because he makes it easier to hit certain notes by tuning it differently, And so I try to emulate some of that shit, but it's hard. He's a hard player. Yeah.
To mimic somebody is a tough thing,
But that's how you learn, right?
Yeah.
I never took a lesson in my life, right? And so for me, it's been listening. I grew up listening to Rush and some of the old like Zeppelin and stuff like that, and then got into the heavier metal stuff that happened in the 80s, and then the early 90s alternative, what was called alternative, which was Pearl Jam and Stone Temple Pilots and bands like that, Bush and things that were that kind of like their sounded, it was different. It was a mix. Music is really just a growing progression of the the age previous. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, absolutely.
It just builds off the next one. You know,
You see all these bands nowadays, taking stuff from, the 70s and 80s and 90s.
And that's why I think we got a unique sound, because I think our influences are everywhere.
Well,
you
the
know,
bassist is straight 80s metal.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
pretty much all he'll ever listen to is 80s metal.
AC/DC
he loves
and
Steel
fucking
Panther. You know who Steel
Steel
Panther
Panther,
is?
yeah.
Have you seen that video where that kid holds up the sign and he's like, I challenge you to a guitar solo, and he gets up there and the guy's like, seriously? And he's like, uh-huh. And he's like, well, here's a guitar. Somebody get him a chair. They bring a chair out and the kid sits down. He's like, what are you going to play for us? He goes, Eruption.
Yeah.
And he nails it. No, I mean, just kills it. Oh, and before he played the solo, I don't know if it was the singer that was talking to him.
Yeah.
The singer's like, you nervous? And he goes, no. And there's like, 10,000 people. And you can tell the singer's like, okay, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
And he's like, go ahead. And the kid just nails it.
Just fucking kills it. Yeah.
So check that video out. But anyway, Adam's like just straight 80s metal. And I'm alternative rock, pop punk. You can't get any two different.
But it
oil and water.
helps
Maybe if I
form
played
kind of
jazz
what
or
you've
something, I don't know.
created, though. It helps form what you've created with,
Exactly.
with Betty
And
Hates
that's what
Everything.
makes it so original. And
Yeah.
then you're Hair God, but you get the alternative rock and the and Adam kind of doesn't get the Pearl Jam, Red Hot Chili Peppers '90s stuff as much as much.
See, 90s, man, that's what I grew up
Yeah,
on, man.
right.
Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Yeah,
Pearl
right.
Jam.
And he tells you, he's like, I hate Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm like, how do you
fucking
Red Hot
hate
Chili
that?
Peppers?
I know.
Those guys
Yeah.
are freaking amazing.
I mean, Flea was,
So you mix this, you put this into a pot and stir it up, and you get Betty Hates Everything. You know,
And then
Yeah.
Kevin
Kevin's-
likes Blue October and
Yeah.
what
Well,
else-
Kevin's a
what else does
lyricist,
he
so
like?
for him, he likes the pain in the lyrics. You know, it's about pain. You know, I think one night we introduced every song, and I tried to as we introduced the song, I would try to talk about what kind of song it was, like really quick, and say, so this is a sad song. You know, this song's pretty sad. It's about a girl dying in a plane crash. You know, it's fucking sad. You know, and then we play the next song. And go, this is a pretty sad song. This song's pretty sad. It's about, a guy looking at his life in a mirror and fucking hating what he sees, looking back at him. You know, it's a pretty sad song. You know, well, this next song we're doing is a pretty sad song. Yeah. You know? So I like fucking. I'm going, what
Kevin,
the fuck, Kevin? So
Let's just introduce ourselves as a sad band.
We're a bunch of sad
yeah, it's
bastards.
fucking sad, but it's angry. It's angry, but it's fucking sad. Yeah. And so he wrote one for me. I said, "Can you write a song like about sex or something that people want,
something exciting,
something that fucking turns you on?" You know, he says. So he wrote a song. So I put the chords together for something. I thought, there's no fucking way you can make this sad. and he wrote, and we did Come and Play.
Oh,
Yeah,
are you serious?
Yeah. Come and Play was because I looked at him and said, we got to stop writing fucking sad, fucking angry, fucking sad, and let's write.
Story's not. Well, I guess story is kind of.
But people can relate with sadness. You know what I mean? We're all a bunch of depressed people.
Well, Kevin's a tragic figure. You know, he's kind of a tragic figure, is what I call him. He's a Shakespearean tragic figure.
Kevin's
right?
kind of a tragedy.
Yeah, he's a tragedy. You know, and so he writes.
I'm just kidding, Kevin.
He writes how he feels.
If he
you know,
listens to this.
yeah. No, well, he knows we're fucking with him, but he
He hopes, right?
Yeah, he writes how he feels, right? And so sometimes he just writes all lyrics. He doesn't have anything, and we get together about once a week, and I'll show him something on a guitar that I'm working on, and then he'll go through his lyrics list and go, maybe I can use this one, you know, and so he'll come up with a melody that works, you know, which surprisingly, he's classically trained in vocals, right? So he did a lot of choir kind of vocals, you know what I mean, like diaphragm, use your diaphragm and stuff like that, and so he understands, you know, singing. And oddly enough, I mean, without ever realizing it, I mean, when he hears the chord progressions, he comes up with these great melodies with them. And don't let this go to your head, Kevin, because, fucking, you know what I'm saying. But he, because he comes up with a melody, and if it's something that's funky that we're listening to, we go, but he's really good at nailing,
it's
you know.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's the first, and he'll be the first one to be set in his way in the vocal. He'll sit there for about 2 minutes,
Yeah.
and he'll listen to the riff, and he'll go, and then he'll sing it.
Yeah.
And then he'll sing it the second time, and it's done. He's
Yeah.
done with the vocal pattern.
Yeah.
And then we all follow him on that vocal pattern.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. The guy's
Yeah.
so talented.
Yeah, he just does it like that.
So,
yeah. Well, don't
great.
say that don't say he's talented.
I know.
Then
Actually,
he's going to
it
think
sucks.
like,
It's-
yeah,
we have to coach him.
fucking constantly telling him what to
And,
do.
he's never
It's
gonna
like, what the fuck were you
He's
thinking?
never going to make it with any other band, so we just kind of have to coach him and help him along. So
Yeah, probably fucking Kevin.
You guys got some shows coming up, and then how can people find you? Let's get those mentioned here as we kind of wrap it up.
Let's go through them. February 21st is the Royal, and we're going to play with Wayland, and the last Wednesday, and forgive me, I can't remember the other band.
The first, I don't know. I can't remember either.
I think it might be When the Fight Started. I can't remember. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
The last Wednesday, and Wayland. Wayland's like the Royal Bliss of Iowa, apparently. They're real big in the Midwest.
Yep.
And for some reason, we're headlining this show, which makes me happy. So that'll be a great show.
Oh, and can I interject on that?
Yeah.
The girls that all put in their names for this contest and sent us pictures are all invited to the show because we want to show appreciation for them being in the contest. We're gonna give them some free merch and some other stuff, and maybe get them, if we can, get them up on stage. Time is going to be an issue, I think, because we have 3 bands or 4 bands playing that night. But
we can just bring them all up.
We're just going to try to bring them up and introduce everybody to the new girl, the new Betty, and so it's going to be kind of a party. So
there'll be some good-looking girls there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
not easy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I can
all
imagine.
of them. Every one of them that came in. I mean, I still have pictures of them. You know what I'm saying?
On your phone.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, okay. So February 22nd, I'm going to change the subject here. 22nd is going to be, we're opening for LA Guns.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you want tickets?
LA Guns.
LA Guns,
Where's that going to be at?
That's at Geno's.
Oh, Geno's. Yeah, yeah.
On State.
State and like 30th or something.
I've been there a few times for some karaoke, man.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's right.
cool.
Yeah, Geno's.
So that'll be fun.
Another band's playing there too called London. And London was a kind of an 80s rock band, I think, too. If you look them up they're on Facebook too.
And then let's see.
LA Guns, though. That's awesome.
That's all right.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. That was I'm real happy with that. Tickets are $14. So
Okay.
You want 2? How many do you need?
How many can we give it? 20?
Right sell them right now.
Sell them right now. Yeah.
What's our next? Let's see, March.
March
What's
3rd.
March.
Well, no, the thing with
You probably find all your shows on Facebook.
On
so
Facebook,
people can connect with you.
yeah.
Do you guys have a website or no?
We do. I think we're going to take it down, though. I think it's kind of.
You're going to take it down. No more websites.
Either that or fix. I mean, we paid for the .com, so we.
Well, yeah, you got to have a website.
It needs to be fixed. We need somebody to help us fix that site because
what needs to be fixed about it?
Well, I
just think it's obsolete. I don't think we even need it. We have Facebook.
Yeah, but what if Facebook goes down, man? You need to have a main hub.
I like his thinking.
This is you.
I like his thinking.
Facebook isn't going to go down. It's
no, but I think you need. Everybody needs to have a website.
Listen to this guy.
Everybody needs a website.
See this guy right here?
Yeah.
See this guy right here?
Look,
he's a professional. He knows what he's talking about.
I hate to kill your ego, T, but we're not that big yet. We don't need a.
We don't need to be big to have a .com page.
Everybody can get their info from Facebook.
We don't.
You think you need to? You think you need to be big to have a .com?
Right. See, that's what he thinks.
No, I mean seriously though. I mean,
okay.
People get .coms for their babies.
I'll fucking update it.
Because you got to code that shit to put on a date.
Right. That's what we need to find.
I don't code.
I don't know how to code either, but we need to find someone to code the page.
It's not like Facebook.
Like HTML or something.
It's simple.
No, it's not. You want to do it for us?
Not really.
Okay, well there you go.
So we want to. I want the .com page because I think everybody should be able to go to a single page to buy our merch and to look at what we're doing and maybe see some videos and shit. I think Facebook is a great networking device. But I think the business side of it should be a .com page.
Well, yeah, you need to kind of have it. You need to go there, and then it needs to route people to all your other stuff. Because this is my opinion. Facebook is great, but the problem is all the updates get kind of lost after a while. People have to kind of shuffle through it. You go to your .com. You can connect to your Facebook, or if you're on Twitter.
Posting all those pictures.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, even if you just have a front page, upcoming shows. I mean, what does it cost? $10 a year?
I like his thing. I like your.
Anyways, I don't know. I'm not here to educate you guys on
$10 a year, Dan.
I mean,
$10.
Because, like I said, I book our shows and I do our Facebook, and I don't have time to code the HTML.
You know what? I'll take.
Nobody's gonna.
I'll take on the record. For the record, I will take the .com responsibility.
You're going to take the .com.
And look at this. On the I Am Salt Lake podcast, T is out on here.
Everybody who's listening to this, check, because our dates aren't up on there. I think we still have dates from 2013 on our
I'll go in there and I will, it'll be magic.
It's on the record. It's on the record.
Fucking magic.
You haven't coded the dates yet. I'm telling you, it's a pain.
I have no idea what the fuck I'm getting into, but I'm going to fucking make it happen.
Did everybody hear that? Did everyone hear that?
Yeah.
Write that down.
It's going to happen.
So anyway, you're on Facebook. Betty Hates Everything on Facebook.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a Twitter account, or do you guys do any other social medias besides Facebook?
Tweet. We got Reverb Nation.
You got Reverb Nation, because I'll get all the links on the show notes too.
The bass's daughter does Twitter.
Okay, for the band, or just
she just does it for fun.
Yeah,
it's not really. It's not. I don't know how.
But it's a Betty Hates Everything Twitter account.
It is. Yeah.
See, I love Twitter. I love Twitter. I just so that's why I always
tweet anybody, man.
It's just fun. It's just
you can tweet like congressmen and shit.
Yeah.
It is. It's kind of cool. I thought it was kind of neat.
Yeah.
You tweet congressman?
And then what about?
But I don't. No.
What about Instagram? You know what I mean? You guys need to get on. You guys on
Instagram?
No, but like for the band, I think it'd be cool to post some band photos. You know what I mean? Like
maybe we should do that.
Instagram rocks, dude. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. I like Instagram.
I'm too busy listening to the recordings of practice and
fuck, I know. Well, and that's the thing is that starts to kick up too.
Are we hiring a social media person?
Okay. So we just hired a girl to do our merch for us.
Okay.
Who actually does merch.
To do what? Like
to come to the shows and sell T-shirts and stuff that we've got.
Nice.
Because we need someone to kind of take care of the inventory and help us with all that stuff. And
that's where you can actually make music. Or make money, not being big yet.
Yeah, you in your merch, and
if you're listening, buy merch from these guys.
Yeah.
It helps. I mean, any band, it helps bands out immensely.
And we're kind of starting a trend where once we have a Betty and we release the music with her image, the next album is going to have a new one.
Right.
And so everything's going to go out of print eventually. We're not going to continue to use the same Betty for, so the T-shirts that we have in stock or in inventory for a particular EP while it's out are the only ones we're going to have. So
Heidi, right?
Heidi's the first one, right? And so we're going to run out of Heidi T-shirts eventually, and then they're not going to be printed again. Mm-hmm. And so, it's kind of interesting because people want to, kind of get in on the bandwagon early with the band. That's a good way to do that, is like, have the collection of our T-shirts that are going to look different for the number of years that we put up these EPs.
Those are collector's items.
Yeah.
They're collectors.
Yeah. So we bring those to the shows, we just never really had anybody manning the tables and stuff. So now we've got a full-time person, and she works with, her name's Katie Hansen, and she works with like a MMA fighter group to help sell shirts with those groups. So she's talented. She knows what she's talking about. She's freaking hot on top of that. So she modifies the shirts when she puts them on and walks around, and just like she's going to be a great asset to us. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, what song are we ending the show out with, guys?
Let's do Rip It Away.
Rip It Away.
Mirror, yeah. Okay. Yeah, because Rip It Away's on that first EP, but Mirror's one of our newest ones that's going on this EP, upcoming EP.
Okay.
So let's do Mirror.
Well, I appreciate you guys sitting down and chatting and the music and
no problem. Sorry if I can get into it like this.
No,
it's like
dude,
this all the time with us.
That's what I love. I love. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and
he just needs to relinquish control
down the road. I'd love to be able to sit down.
I have to relinquish control to him, is what he says. We're brothers, like we're like brothers, right? It's family. The band's family, right?
Yeah.
So you can banter and not give a shit about it.
I love it. I love it. And then down the road, I'd like to sit down with the whole band.
Yeah, it's a riot.
And get everybody once we get everything going.
And Adam, if I can leave a message with the kids out there who are forming a band, the music is everything.
This is where it gets deep.
It's going to get deep, kids.
It gets deep.
The music is everything, and if you're not doing it because you love playing the music, there's no fucking point in it. But the members all have to be single-minded. We all have to have the same goal and intention. And all of us in this band are all single-minded about what this all means to us, And
it's not about you, it's about your product.
Right. It's about the product and it's about the team, the members of the band, not necessarily the individuals in the band, Like I like to play solos, like they know. But if they're not melodic and they don't fit and they're more than a minute or 30 seconds long or 15 seconds long, then what am I? I'm stroking myself for nothing, right? Yeah. It's supposed to play into the music. It's my interpretation of the song is my solo, right? My interpretation of the melody. Just like his drum line is the interpretation of what he hears and feels about that song, So if you don't go in it for the right reasons, there's no point. I mean, if you just I guess just for having fun is fine, but
you're wasting everybody's time.
Right.
Do it for fun, but don't get mad at the promoters when they don't want to give you a gig.
Right.
Because you can't sell a $10 ticket.
Right.
There's a reason why you can't sell a $10 ticket.
Yeah.
And I think and I think when bands play like that, I honestly think it hurts the music scene because people go out to see live music and they're not impressed with it and they're not going to go see live music.
They don't want to go back and see it.
Our enemy is electronica. You got to fight electronica DJs. That's bullshit. You can't just electronically make a track and throw it on, and it's a perfect track because it's electronic. Fuck.
Well, they show up with their they show up with their laptop, you know,
and
and
fight the power. You know?
Fight the DJs.
Betty really doesn't hate everything, but Betty hates electronica.
Yeah. Betty hates electronica.
Shit,
yeah.
Play some, actually play some stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Put your soul into it.
Yeah, and it's funny because in their studio too, we don't, you know how they fix mistakes. You can fix mistakes in the studio electronically.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes the mistakes are part of the song. You know, you just got to leave them alone. Sometimes, you know. Sometimes when Dan tells me to fucking play on the one,
that'll be in our EP, by the way.
He yelled at me.
I said, what did I say?
Start on the one,
start on
fucker.
the one, you fuck. I think is what I said.
and that will be on the EP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so the song's going to play, and then right before the next track starts, it's going to say, start it on the one, you fuck, and then it will start the next track.
Yeah, it's a hidden track in the EP.
It's a little hidden,
we have other stuff in there
too. It's a little hidden
too.
gem
Yeah.
in there for
Yeah.
you. A little hidden gem.
All right. Many thanks goes out to Dan and T from Betty Hates Everything. Check out the show notes, iamsaltlake.com/131. That will connect you with their Facebook, their Twitter, all the information you need to know to get in touch with Betty Hates Everything. Download some of their music. Check it out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the conversation. I had a really great time chatting with them. I can't wait to bring the entire band onto the podcast. That way we can get into all of their minds and find out what they're thinking, what they're doing here in Salt Lake City music-wise. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, there are some great musicians here in Salt Lake City. If you're a musician and you're listening to this podcast, let me know. Drop me an email, iamsaltlake@gmail.com. I'd love to bring you on the show. I'd love to find out about your band. If you're doing solo stuff, I'd just love to hear more about you. Also, I want to reach out to the new people here in Salt Lake City. I get a lot of emails from people that are moving to Salt Lake City, Utah. And I want to make an announcement that if you're moving to Salt Lake City, drop me an email, iamsaltlake@gmail.com. Let me know what you would like to find out more about. The art scene, the music scene, whatever you're involved with. I want to find out what you need to find out information for. I got a voicemail line. You can also text me at 385-202-5926. You can text or call the voicemail at that number. If you want to get in touch with me, say there's hey, you know what? I need to find a good bar in a certain area of town that you're moving to, or what bands are playing tonight, or, is there an open poetry? I want to hear what you guys are interested in. I mean, there's so much cool things going on here in Salt Lake City. And, I've talked to a few people. They said, the most frustrating thing is not being able to locate or find out what's going on. I mean, we have some incredible talent in this town, and I just want to connect you guys with that. Also, hey, if you haven't left a review in iTunes, that really helps support the show. You could find the link for iTunes right there at iamsaltlake.com. Leave us a review. It takes you just a couple seconds, helps boost the ratings, helps gets us exposed to more people, and more people find out about the show, and it really helps the podcast out. Also, Stitcher Radio. If you listen through Stitcher Radio, leave a review there as well. That really helps boost our ratings. And support the show. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Share any of your favorite episodes with your family and friends. Don't let us be your dirty little secret. Help spread the word about the I Am Salt Lake podcast. It means a lot to me. Follow me on Twitter, I Am Salt Lake. You can find on Facebook, I Am Salt Lake. And I'll keep you guys up to date on everything going on here in Salt Lake City. So with that being said, we're going to play one more song here from Betty Hates Everything. Again, my name is Chris Hollifield. And thank you so much for listening to the I Am Salt Lake podcast.